On an otherwise unremarkable morning in May, here in New Orleans, police officers discovered, abandoned in a backyard, a bloody axe. Like this. And a door that had been carefully cut open. Inside, they would find even more gory evidence in the first of a series of ghastly crimes. The year was 1918. A mysterious mass murderer was on a brutal rampage that forced some frightened citizens of this city to give in to his unusual demands. That astonishing story will be the first stop on our journey into the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. Experience the spectacular fireworks of a volcanic eruption. Probe the mysterious rituals of living sacrifice. Join a death-defying artist who creates lava sculptures inside an active volcano. Build a house with a man who will never be able to see his work. Enter the special world of a courageous teacher. Discover the inspiring talents of a unique painter. Take a bite of the world's longest hot dog. See the long-deceased creator of a bizarre tourist attraction in Kansas. Learn how one man gathered the world's largest collection of credit cards. Tour a city in California where death is a thriving business. Examine the life-giving secrets of a lethal gas and a deadly explosive. Visit an amazing cathedral of salt built entirely underground. The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to
believe it or not.
The sweet sound of music, New Orleans style. It's in the air here, as thick as the smell of magnolias on a warm summer evening. There was a time, however, when jazz wasn't just something to listen to. It was a way to protect yourself from sudden death. Music and murder are strange companions. But back in 1919, jazz seemed to be the only protection available to prevent an axe-wielding maniac from breaking into your home. The killings were front-page news. The first victims were a couple who ran a grocery store. They were killed in their sleep. A small safe had been opened and emptied, but the motive wasn't robbery. Over $100 in cash was still under the victim's pillow, and a small pile of jewelry, including several diamond rings, was on the dresser. So it wasn't money the killer was after. It was something else. For almost a year, the axe murderer terrorized the city. His methods were always the same. He cut through a door, swung his axe, and left a bloody trail of 9 maimed or murdered victims. Local citizens took to staying indoors at night and were careful about talking to strangers. The braver, or more foolhardy among them, made jokes or wrote songs like The Mysterious Axeman's Jazz or Don't Scare Me, Papa. They didn't make the hit parade or keep the Axeman away, but they were on the right track. Just how right they were soon became apparent to local newspaper reporters. On a morning in March, an editor opened his mail to discover a bizarre letter. It was dated the 13th and bore a one-word return address: hell. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 o'clock earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I am going to make a little proposition to the people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose house a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for the people. One thing is certain, and that is, some of those persons who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. It was signed, the Axeman. On the Tuesday night in question, New Orleans was set to music. For local citizens, jazz became musical insurance against murder and mayhem. For record store owners and musicians, it was a bonanza. Despite the upbeat tempo, the gatherings were less than joyous. The result, however, was a cause for relief. The music apparently served its purpose. There were no killings that night. The Axeman was never caught, and the case was never closed. Believe it or not.
Jack Nickel.
The magnificent and awesome Kilauea volcano here on the Big Island of Hawaii. It is one of the largest and most active volcanoes on Earth. This is the home of the daughter of Father Sky and Mother Earth, creator and destroyer, the maker of mountains, melter of rocks, eater of forests. She is a goddess, the goddess of fire, and her name is Pele. From 35 miles deep in the earth, Kilauea's increasingly frequent eruptions can shoot up fountains of fiery lava nearly 2,000 feet high. It is perhaps the most spectacular show on Earth. Rivers of fire hundreds of yards wide and 5 miles long speed down the mountainside at 35 miles an hour, exploding or incinerating everything in their path. The heat is unimaginable, some 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 times hotter than molten lead. Thus were the Hawaiian Islands themselves created, built up from countless volcanic eruptions over tens of millions of years. Here at Kilauea, along the rim of the massive crater, groundwater constantly seeps down into the earth until it reaches the superheated rocks below. Then it rushes back to the surface as steam, pouring out of vents scattered for miles throughout the area. Old-timers refer to these vapors as Pele's breath, steaming from deep inside the volcano, a warning sign to non-believers that the tempestuous goddess still rules here. When Pele's fury is spent and the flowing lava cools, tourists often pick up pieces of black rock and take them home as souvenirs of their visit to Pele's domain. But an odd thing, the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce reports that quite often, packages arrive at their offices with the souvenir rock enclosed, sent back by tourists who say that since returning home, they've been plagued with bad luck. Something tells them that their misfortunes began with these lava rocks, and since they came from Pele's home, they must be returned to her. Just superstition, of course. What is mere superstition to us may be, to another culture, deeply held religious beliefs. In Bali, mountains are homes of the gods, and a volcano, Gunung Agung, is the holiest of mountains. In 1963, after lying dormant for centuries, Gunung Agung erupted. Clearly the gods were angry. Although they were directly in the path of flowing lava, the people of one village refused to leave. Facing the exploding mountain, they sat and prayed. The gods were punishing them, and they would accept their fate. Some 1,500 were killed. 16 years later, as a new century begins in the Balinese calendar, the priests have ordered a ceremony to cleanse the island of spiritual pollution. Pilgrims laboriously climb the 11,000-foot peak, where live animals will be sacrificed to appease the gods who live in Gunung Agung. From birth to death, the Balinese engage in a complicated series of rituals designed to keep the world in balance. Ages ago, human beings were sacrificed to placate the gods. The Balinese do not see live sacrifice as cruel. Animals lucky enough to be chosen will be reincarnated into higher forms of life. The mountain will not spew forth fiery death. On Sicily's Mount Etna and other volcanoes around the world, blazing rivers of molten rock present irresistible challenge and opportunity to André Boucher. For more than a dozen years, he has been making dangerous pilgrimage in pursuit of a unique quest. As he helps his assistant don a fire-resistant suit, Boucher repeats his instructions. The lava he seeks must be just right. Hot enough to be liquid and malleable, cool enough for tools to handle. André Boucher, a Swiss, is a sculptor, and lava to him is virgin substance in which he can express his art. Because the lava cools quickly, Boucher must work fast to capture the essence of the liquid rock, to put his mark on it before it fixes itself permanently into unwanted shape. Boucher's works have been displayed in galleries in Europe and North America. A serious and somewhat mystical man, he hopes his creations will help viewers experience a new sense of mankind's relationship to cosmic processes. On Mount Etna, having completed another dangerous mission, André Boucher gives thanks with his own personal sacrifice to the mountain. Volcanoes release their energy in varying ways. Because of all that steam, the city of Beppu in Japan may look like a center of heavy industry, but looks can be deceiving. The steam of Beppu issues forth not from factories, but from the earth itself. There are over 3,700 pools like this throughout the city. The Japanese word for them is jigoku, but jigoku is also the Japanese word for hell. A grim reminder that Japan is volcano country. An inferno seethes below. The jigoku come in all shapes and colors. Like this one, the ocean hell. All of them may someday erupt with cataclysmic force and release the blast furnace heat that melts solid rock into flowing, annihilating lava. But for the moment, hell is put to a useful service. These jigoku, many of them hundreds of feet deep, tap that very heat and bring it gently to us here. The Japanese believe that because of the minerals dissolved in these waters, they are of great healing value. People come from all over the country to bathe in them, to drink them, to inhale their vapors. The waters of hell. The temperature of some of these jigoku is over 200 degrees. You can boil an egg in that. Oishi. Delicious. The eruption of Mount St. Helens created enough ashes and dust to cover Manhattan Island to a depth of 28 stories. Believe it or not.
Okay, I'm human. A good...
Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, endive for a special touch. All the ingredients for a fresh salad. Just slice them, shred them, and toss them with your favorite dressing. Not so easy to do with your arm in a sling. As a matter of fact, it's almost impossible. It's a simple thing to do, slicing a tomato. Or so I thought until now. The sling was just to make the point that ordinary actions like slicing a tomato, tying your shoestrings, just getting dressed, all become extraordinary obstacles when you are deprived, even temporarily, of the use of your arm or hand or any part of your body. There are some people, however, who have learned to live with even greater restrictions on their mobility. For them, each tomorrow is a new and formidable challenge. We call them disabled, but their achievements are not only extraordinary, but inspiring. On a quiet, sparsely settled island off the coast of New Zealand, Ken Smith is building his dream house. It's almost finished now, and he's done it all himself. The lumber and other materials came in by barge, and he had to drag it all up the hillside piece by piece. Ken Smith has been blind since childhood. He taught himself carpentry with the aid of special tools like a braille ruler. A battery-powered electronic level beeps until it's perfectly horizontal or vertical. He's even installing his own plumbing, and everything's being done by hand because there's no electricity for power tools. Ken's wife and 2 daughters will move in with him as soon as the house is finished. When people tell him how amazing he is, Ken Smith says, "I don't see it that way. I never stop to think about it. I just do it."
Thank you.
Remember, keep your head looking up.
Cerebral palsy is one of mankind's cruelest afflictions. A disorder of the central nervous system occurring usually at birth, it doesn't get worse, but seldom gets better. Maria French has been fighting it all her life.
Okay, come on, way up. That's it. Come on, fight.
Because her condition is highly visible, and people make assumptions about the many things she cannot do, she enjoys the anonymity her car provides. "I love driving," she says, "and once I'm on the freeway, I become another car. There's nothing different about me." While acknowledging her limitations, Maria is determined to work and contribute to society. "There's more than one way for me to get to where I want to go," she says. "I get up and push the wheelchair, and I can go anywhere."
Because not everybody goes to school with.
Now a teacher in the Southern California high school she attended, Maria French seeks to instill in her pupils a desire to improve physical and mental abilities and to develop social skills. She says any person can become limited, but the limitation does not devalue the person.
I think I am the first severely disabled person that they have hired. They see me as a role model, which is good because then they know that anything is possible. It gives them a kind of hope. It also relieves the tension that they don't have to be normal to make it.
In the unpredictable and highly competitive world of art, a remarkable newcomer has begun to gain local recognition. Mostly romantic representations of female faces and bodies, his drawings are composed of thousands of minute individual lines, drawn with ordinary commercial pens of varied colors. Now 29, Robert Tome has been a quadriplegic since he was 15 years old.
After I got hurt, it seemed like everything was over. It was like I was dead. And I wouldn't put a pen in my mouth at all because I thought it was ugly. You know, I just didn't really want to do it. Right there.
Yeah.
It's time for a break.
After years of depression and soul-searching, Tome renewed his boyhood hobby, drawing. When he was 26, he married the former Kathy Prather, who has 2 children by a previous marriage. She became the spark that finally motivated him to work seriously at his art.
Looks good, though. I hope we can get it matted and framed in time to take with us.
It's the best piece I've done yet.
You always say that, Robert.
Well, every piece is getting better and better, it seems like.
Tome also writes poetry and is working on ways to enable him to try
We gotta
sculpting.
get it to the gallery.
He says, "There are a lot of ideas churning in my head trying to get out."
Okay. Want to start?
Might as well.
Okay. Which way do you want it? This way?
Right there.
Do I get a kiss? Okay. Do you need anything, Holly?
Right. I finally tried to sort everything out between me and God, and I asked him if I had to be this way. I didn't want to be alone. And then he sent me my wife. And her and the kids have been everything to me. Everything.
Although he has many of the medical difficulties associated with quadriplegia, Tom likes to get out of the house as often as possible.
Yeah, how you doing?
He's frequently asked to meet with recent victims of severe spinal cord injuries who find inspiration in his achievements. He usually shows his drawings and begins his talk by telling of his own injury, how his neck was broken in a high school football game.
One of our rival schools. I was playing strong safety, and it was 4th down, and the guy broke through the line. I went in to fill in the gap, and I tripped, and I landed real wrong. I was in deep depression for about 9 years. I tried to commit suicide, but it was a bummer because I woke up. They pumped my stomach. I was okay, and I go, I can't. Why? I can't even kill myself. So I was really depressed about that for quite a bit longer. I just had to get in my head that this is the way I was going to be, and I had to be alive. It's hard to live. And, with the help of God now, I don't feel like I've lost that much. Had to get to the point where there were more important things in my body. Like my wife and my kids, and now the work, which is all from God, and it's my work to show, and it must be shown. Just find your focus, man, and just don't let anything stop you. And that's the only thing that's going to bring you out of yourself, because you're going to get that dignity and that pride. That's all you need. And and once you have that attitude, once you have that certainty, the handicap doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't.
Disabled Irish writer Christy Brown wrote 6 books by typing with the little toe of his left foot. Believe it or not.
Cool, original, exceptional. Navy for men. You always feel great in Navy. The clean, classic scent for men.
The Psychic Solution doesn't want you to be fooled by imitators. Here, all quality psychics speak for themselves. The other networks can only promise what we deliver.
Told me about something that just happened 2 days ago, which was really, really strange.
You've done some traveling.
The Fiesta Mart in Pasadena, Texas may seem like thousands of other variety stores around America. There's almost always something worth buying here. But there's something here you won't find anywhere else in the world. It is a 300-year-old treasure. It is history. It is art. It is inspiration. It is La Última Cena, the Last Supper, as painted by the Spanish master Bartolomé Murillo. It's on display, but it's not for sale. At least not at a price most people would be willing to pay. It was recently appraised at $650,000. No wonder it's protected by a special alarm system. Other paintings by Murillo hang in some of the greatest galleries in the world. The Louvre, the Prado, the Metropolitan. The owner of this store bought this painting and hung it here to attract customers, hoping they would find La Última Cena as fascinating and appealing as he did. You might not expect to find a masterpiece worth a fortune hanging in a variety store. But then America is filled with all kinds of surprises.
Fine. Excuse me, all these people got to move back. Now, this is the critical part, Fern.
In Columbus, Ohio, a food company celebrates its 100th anniversary by unveiling the world's longest hot dog. To produce it required weeks of experimentation by engineers at one of the country's largest wiener factories. The actual manufacturing took 4 full days, and an enthusiastic crew took 3.5 hours to lay out the 600-pound monster. Every succulent inch lovingly and delicately positioned in 6-foot lengths of bun.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2,000 feet. That's 6 football fields. 6 football fields. Attaboy,
And what does one do with 2,000 feet of hot dog? Simply add 26 gallons of mustard, 26 gallons of ketchup, then come and get it.
Boy, it's really good. This is my wallet. 250 feet long. And it's all filled with credit cards.
Meet Walter Kavanaugh, 40-year-old real estate broker from Santa Clara, California.
And this wallet, which has the world's record, doesn't 250 feet does not hold all my credit cards. Just look at this.
Nearly 1,200 cards, almost $1.5 million worth of credit. Kavanaugh says some 10,000 different credit cards are available in the U.S., and he hopes to make his collection complete. Although scholars disagree over the actual location of the biblical Garden of Eden, there's no disputing the locale of Samuel Dinsmore's garden. It's in Kansas, between Paradise and Hell Creek. Adam and Eve, the serpent, the devil, all made of concrete, and all built by one man. It took him 20 years, and he was 64 when he began. Samuel Dinsmore even built his own mausoleum. At 81, he married a 20-year-old woman and fathered 2 children. He died at age 89 and lies today in a glass-covered concrete coffin he built himself. Buried beneath him, out of sight, is his first wife. Dinsmore's will directed that visitors to his mausoleum pay $1. They can look through the glass, he said, and see my face. If I see the dollar, I'll give 'em a smile. And then there's Colma, a small town, much like so many others in Northern California. A nice place to live, a healthy environment for the kids. Yes, life is good in Colma. Business is pretty good, too, all year round. Lots of flower shops, but even with all the competition, everyone seems to make a living. Quite a few folks here do stone carving. Make a pretty good living at that, too. This being California, of course everybody has a car. But Colma seems to have more than its share of long black limousines. The reason, of course, is that Colma has more than its share of cemeteries, more than any other town its size in the country. Colma's major industry operates on an equal opportunity basis, with congenial accommodations for all religious and ethnic groups, as well as space for those who don't care who occupies the subterranean neighborhood. Sure is a pretty view. No wonder it attracted so many famous people. Just to name a few, publishing giant William Randolph Hearst, Wyatt Earp, legendary gunfighter, and Levi Strauss, the man who put the world in blue jeans. A pet cemetery occupies 15 acres and offers the same kinds of services as all the others. This fascination with funerals, which has led to Colma's undisputed title of Storage City, goes back to the turn of the century, when San Francisco authorities outlawed burials within city limits because of health hazards. A new location for cemeteries was established just outside of town, and all the major city burial grounds and thousands upon thousands of their dead were transferred. Colma. Population 731 above ground and over 1 million below ground. California's thriving city of cemeteries. Believe it or not.
In Longview, Washington, squirrels have their own man-made suspension bridge to cross a busy thoroughfare. Believe it or not.
Meet the legend.
These tubes and vials contain lethal compounds, poisons and explosives with the power to cause instant death. Yet, they are the common tools of chemists, safe in their professional hands. Definitely not something to handle carelessly, but we do every day, in many forms, casually, easily. In fact, our lives depend on a combination of deadly gas and highly explosive metal. Deprived of them, we die. This is the gas. Only a few breaths of it would kill you, or me. Just a tiny squirt will wipe out these locusts. This is the explosive. A bit of silvery white metal. It appears innocent enough. But don't believe it. Watch what happens when it's dropped into ordinary water. An explosive, sodium, a deadly gas, chlorine. Alone, each is a potential killer, yet combined in nature, they create a substance which is essential for every living creature. Scientists call it sodium chloride. We call it salt. Ordinary table salt is crystals of sodium chloride, crystals that are always cubes or parts of cubes. In our bodies, the right amount of salt helps keep our nerves, muscles, and digestive systems working properly. Without salt, the body would dry up, suffering convulsions and paralysis before literally dying of thirst. In some places, men still labor to wrest salt from the parched earth as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. At one time, salt was so precious that it was traded nearly ounce for ounce for gold. Even today, entire societies are virtually based on trading for salt. In the Sahara Desert, the Kanuri people are the producers. The buyers are the Tuaregs, who each year journey nearly 1,000 miles just to trade for salt. Neither speaks the other's language, so bargaining sometimes lasts an entire week, conducted in a third language that neither Tuareg nor Kanuri speaks very well. The deal concluded, precious water is applied sparingly to soften the mats protecting the 45-pound sticks of salt. The trek home will be long and arduous. Like salt caravans across the desert, wild animals wear trails in the African savanna, driven by their need for salt. Domestic animals often need help from man. Ranchers in the western United States lay out 50-pound blocks of salt for grazing cattle. High in the mountains of Bhutan, Where the yak is the sole source of human livelihood, herdsmen must take special care of their precious animals. Once a month, they force-feed large doses of salt in the primitive but effective way of countless generations. Salt can be harvested by solar evaporation from the limitless supplies of the oceans. A modern plant can produce 6 million tons a year. Salt is also brought up from deep in the earth, and in Poland, the Walicka mine is a national showcase. It began producing over 1,000 years ago. Every inch of space was hewn out of rock salt by hand. In the 17th century, miners began carving salt into statues of saints and royalty. In one underground chapel, 3 centuries of human breath gradually erased the features of the saints, slowly dissolving them to leave statues of salt resembling abstract modern art. Walls, floors, artworks, all made of salt. An underground city whose galleries and corridors extend nearly 200 miles. Today, through much of the world, modern production methods make salt plentiful and cheap. In cold climates, huge amounts are literally thrown away each winter, spread on roads to keep traffic moving after snowstorms. No use is more important than salt's applications in medicine. For years, intravenous infusion of saline liquids has been used to manage loss of blood and to help prevent shock. Dissolved in the body of every healthy adult is 8 ounces, half a pound of salt. Salt. It's in our blood, sweat, and tears. But too much can be dangerous. To be precise, too much sodium. Salt is 40% sodium, and excessive sodium could cause high blood pressure, which in turn could lead to heart attack, kidney failure, and other ailments. The average healthy adult gets by safely on about 2 grams of sodium a day, roughly 1 teaspoon of salt. The typical American diet may supply up to 3 times that amount. In 1 year, for 1 person. That means over 13 pounds of salt. Believe it or not. Displayed here in the British Museum of Mankind is an archaeological mystery. It has been called the Skull of Doom. A life-size sculpture of a human skull carved in pure crystal. Despite their eminent expertise, the museum curators say little more than it is possibly of Aztec origin, the colonial period at the earliest. Which means that it's at least 500 years old and perhaps even older. But how could this smooth, flawless surface, perfect in every detail, be the result of what we know to be comparatively primitive tools? The experts have no answer. They do know how it got here. The museum bought it via Tiffany's, the New York jewelers, in 1898. But no one knows, or will say, where Tiffany's acquired it. There are vague stories about some mysterious soldier of fortune who returned with it after a trip to Mexico about 100 years ago. But no explanations, no facts. There is only one thing that is certain. At night, the skull is cloaked its gleaming eyes hidden behind cloth. For in the past, if it wasn't covered, the cleaning staff wouldn't work around it. Believe it or not.
There are some new toys on the market. Very special toys. Very deadly toys. They all come pre-packaged for fun, and they all have the same simple instruction. Run for your life. Because when these playthings are turned on, you can't turn them off. Energized by evil, they are dangerous toys. The fun continues tonight with Child's Play 3 at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's back-to-back episodes of Dark Shadows. Sci-Fi Channel next.